Wait till she finds out my number one artist is straight. That's what she's making. Yeah, what graduation?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? Good, wonderful, excellent. Glad we could have this conversation right away in the morning. Okay? Put away your phones, put away your headphones, put away your electronics and your coats and your backpacks, and take out your computers, ladies and gentlemen, and your packets. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. It's not here. It's here. Olivia's not here. Jack is here. Achilles is here. Eric is here. Kayla, Skyler, Ariana, Jasmine, Stephen, Irving, Joseph.
I am visiting.
Angel. Ya, sácalo. Ah, sácalo, papi. Angel. Oh, hey, Oprah's gonna walk today.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm gonna walk today. I'm not walking.
What happened to you? And when he's in the car, hey, Angel, when he's in the car, we'll be like, yes, sácalo, papi.
Well, we could have won. I was like, I was actually making some reason.
No.
The whole time I had the red X on my screen.
You know what Brian just told me? I was laughing at him. Because he said that he thinks you're better than me.
I am.
Cheeto!
All right. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a quiz. Your quiz covers the mole, conversions into and out of the mole, formula mass, molar mass, and things of that nature. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you some time to start working on those problems that are in your packet to get some practice time with them. Middle of the class, I'm going to show you the last type of problem that we'll be on tomorrow, which is more than a simple conversion from one unit into moles or moles into a unit. So we will talk about that. If you were not here yesterday, make sure you get the notes from somebody or you go online and look at the video, especially for the part about the changes that we made to our periodic tables. So if you were not here yesterday, the periodic tables are here. The important part is this part right in the middle here where we put the relationships between particles and mole and volume, mole and mass, and we have the numbers on here. Also, the other important part is down at the bottom here where we listed the 7 diatomic molecules. So if you weren't here yesterday or didn't get that, those are up here. You can come up, you can copy that down, okay? If you want to, if you need more space, ladies and gentlemen, you can go in the back and you can work in the back at a lab station. Calculators are up here, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, I'm going to quickly go through a sample problem for you, and then we will give you some time to work on them. So, the sample problems that we were looking at, ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on it. There you go. The sample problems. You should be done with that first worksheet of formula masses, ladies and gentlemen. Sample problems, then start for molar conversions. We did number 1 yesterday.
Can you do number 3?
Sure, I can do number 3. If I can't, we're in trouble. All right. So here's number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. How many moles are in 76.2 gram sample of iron 2 bromide? Okay, first thing you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is they write a formula for iron 2 bromide. Symbol for iron is Fe. Iron 2 means that it is a +2 charge. Bromide is Br. It is a -1 charge. So the formula has to be FeBr2. That's the formula for iron bromide. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going from grams into moles, we are going to need what? What do we need if we're going from grams to moles? It's right up at the top of your periodic table. Grams is mass. Sorry, didn't think I had to spell that out for you. We need the formula mass. So formula mass for this compound. 1 iron times 55.85 plus 2 bromines times 79.90. Okay? So what do we get for that? Somebody shut off their phone before I take it away.
215.65.
Grams per 1 mole. So again, we are starting out with 76.2 grams. We are going to use this fact that we just found to make a conversion factor. What needs to be on the top? What needs to be on the bottom?
The 1 mole on top.
1 mole on top. Therefore, the 215.65 grams goes on the bottom. Grams and grams will cancel out here. How many sig figs should our final answer have? 3. So this has got to be around 0.67, somewhere in there. No. 0.3. 0. Point what?
35.
1 more sig fig.
30.
Moles of FeBr2. Questions?
Do you have to put FRBR2 after it? Or are you just doing that too fancy?
Well, that's what it is. I wouldn't downgrade it. You have to at least have the moles there, though.
Oh, yeah.
You've already told me what the formula is up here. If you didn't put the formula up here, yes, I would expect it down here. Okay? Now, please remember, ladies and gentlemen, if I were grading this on a quiz like tomorrow, 1 point, 2 points, 3, 4 points for this, 1 point for that. Good job. You got a 5 out of 5. Nice job. Do the same thing tomorrow 3 times. And you'll at least get the first 3 correct. Questions? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have got the next 20 minutes to work on these problems, to ask me questions individually, to call me over and to get assistance. After 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the last type of problem that will be on the quiz tomorrow. And then I will give you more time to work, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. You guys are so helpful. So helpful.
Our pleasure.
I know. I know. Okay. Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, these problems, the key to doing these problems is figuring out what unit you're in and figuring out what unit you're trying to go to. Okay? What unit are you in? What unit are you trying to go to? Okay? Okay? Now, there are only a few units you can begin with. You might begin with liters, in which case maybe they want you to go to moles. Or you might begin with moles and they want you to go to liters. If that is the case, you are using 22.4 liters equal to 1 mole always. Mass doesn't enter into this at all. That is the way you get from moles to liters or liters to moles. Now, if you're going from liters to moles, liters has to be on the bottom. If you're going from moles to liters, moles would have to be on the bottom. But this is what you use every time you are going from liters to moles or moles to liters. Questions? Good? Okay. You might have to go from particles to moles. Or you may have to go from moles to particles. Now the question you got to ask yourself is, what are the particles? Okay? Particles can be 3 things. What could they be?
Atoms, molecules, and formula.
Atoms, molecules, or formula units. Correct? Okay. The way we do this, ladies and gentlemen, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles equals 1 mole. Now again, I could put particles on top if I am in moles and trying to get to particles. Particles on top, mole on the bottom. If I'm in particles and I want to get to mole, mole on top, particles on the bottom. This is the only thing I need to get from this to moles, particles to moles. Questions? So the third thing that I might be asked to do is to get from what to moles? Well, grams is actually what? Mass. So maybe I'm asked to go from grams to moles. Maybe I'm asked to go from moles to grams. Correct? Okay. To do that, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a solid number like I do here and like I do here. For this conversion, I have to use formula math, which means I have to calculate it based on the formula. And it's still equal to 1 mole, just like these others, but I have to calculate it. Questions?
Can you give an example of the particle estimates?
Sure. We're going to do a problem here. Let me find a real good problem. Number 10 is a real good problem, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Number 10 is a real good problem because it's got a little trick in it too. Oh, I got plenty of time, right? What time does this class end? Oh, plenty of time. Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So atoms are a what? Particles. So what do I know I'm going to be needing here? 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Now I'm going to leave the word particles blank here for a second because I want to be a little bit more specific. Equals 1 mole, correct? But what unit am I starting with here? I'm starting with what? Starting with grams. Is there any way I can go directly from grams to particles? What do I got to do then? I got to go from grams to moles. Can I then go from moles to particles? Okay, good. So what's our particle here? What's our formula? Okay, what's the formula for that? Now, didn't we just calculate the formula mass for that?
Yeah.
What was it?
342.14 grams per mole.
So again, I hope you remember we did this problem just a little bit ago. That's where we got that number from. I didn't have to recalculate it, correct? Okay. What is that particle there? That is not an atom. That is not a molecule. What? That is a formula unit, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that not an atom? Because there's multiple ones there, right? Why is it not a molecule? Correct. So that is a what? Formula unit. Okay. Now, last hour we discovered a very unfortunate thing, ladies and gentlemen. I like to abbreviate things. I'm going to abbreviate formula unit. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd FUs. Get it out of your system now. Go ahead. Let it go. We're all good?
Yeah.
Equals 1 mole. Now, again, I really hope we don't get observed one day when we're doing a lot of formula unit problems, because I'd hate for Miss Lip to be in the back of the room when Ruby's going, 32 FUs, Mr. Brandon. But, okay, you and I know what it means. We're all good here, right? Okay. Again, I wouldn't mark it wrong if you called it a molecule. Understand it's not completely correct, though, right? Okay, what number do we begin with?
6.
No.
The ones you're given.
Which is what?
150.0 grams.
150.0 grams. And I want to convert it into what? So I'm going to have to use this, right? Okay, so what goes on top? What goes on the bottom?
342.14 grams goes on the bottom, so that the grams cancel out.
Again, the method is called unit cancellation. I need my units to cancel out. 1 mole on top. Do not reach for your calculator. Freeze. We're not even close to being done. And I only want to do a calculation once. One time. We're out of grams. We're into moles. What unit do I want to get to? What? Okay. So how do I get from moles to particles? Okay. What goes where?
The 1 mole goes on the bottom, so that those
Cancel out.
go out, and then on the top you get the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd.
10 to the 23rd what?
Power.
10 to the 23rd what?
Carat.
FUs.
Oh. What?
Well, that's what we said.
That's not very nice.
But now here we got another problem, ladies and gentlemen. FU stands for formula units again. Formula units, keep your head out of the gutter. It wanted to know what, though?
How many are in?
No, what did the problem want to know?
How many atoms are in aluminum?
So what's the relationship between atoms and formula units?
They're both particles.
What is the relationship between atoms and formula units here? Look at the form, Lily.
The amount of atoms that are in each formula.
So what is it?
How many?
What? No, give me the actual. How many?
Will be 2, 8.
Not quite correct. 2 aluminums. How many sulfurs? 3. That's 5, right? How many oxygens? No, that's a 3 outside. 12. 12 and 5 is? 17 atoms equals 1
Mole.
No.
One.
One what? One formula unit.
One FU.
Correct? Does everyone see where we get this from?
By
2 aluminums, 3 sulfurs, 12 oxygens. That is 17 atoms in this compound is equal to 1 formula unit. It didn't. What if it only asked for how many aluminum atoms? It'd be 2 aluminum atoms per 1 formula unit. What if it asked for oxygen? 12. What if it asked for sulfur? It could ask you for any one part of that. Okay? So, okay, this is the last thing we need to use, ladies and gentlemen. What goes where?
The one FU goes on the bottom.
1 FU on the bottom. What goes on the top?
On the top, EU to the
17.
What is the only unit not crossed off?
atoms.
Good. Now, pull up your calculator, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try this. We're going to see if you get the right number. Now, here's the advantage of these nice newer calculators. If you make a mistake punching something in, you can hit the up arrow button at the top and you can go back to whatever calculation. But if you do this calculation, enter, this calculation, enter, this calculation, enter, you can't do that. I do this all at once. And what I'm literally going to do is multiply everything that is on the top together. So on your calculator, 150.0 times 6.02. Now, hit the second button and the scientific notation EE button. If you don't have one of my calculators, you got to figure out how to put the scientific notation in at this time. But you need to put it in. I did not put times 10 and then hit the EE button. The EE takes the place of the times 10. What's the power? So put in 23. Then what? Times 17. Then what? Anything more on top? So now hit the divided by. Now, what is the only number on the bottom that I need to put in here?
342.
Now, be careful. If I had 2 numbers on the bottom that I had to put in, I would hit parentheses and put them both in and multiply them together. Okay? I would multiply everything on the top divided by, in parentheses, everything on the bottom multiplied together. Since there's only one thing here, I don't need to use parentheses. But I do need to put in 342.14. When you hit enter, ladies and gentlemen, what number do you get?
4.486.
Stop! How many sig figs? 4. So what's your answer?
4.487.
4 point what?
4.487.
Now I know that ain't right. Because atoms are a really, 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 really small thing.
Times 10 to the power
10 to the what?
24 pound.
Unit?
atoms.
Now, in its entirety, this seems like a fairly big problem, correct? All we did is the same thing 3 times. Canceled out the unit of grams, got to a unit of moles. Canceled out the unit of moles, got to a unit of formula units. Canceled out the unit of formula units, got to atoms. We're doing the same process each time, we're just using a different conversion each time. Okay? Now, if this had been gold, what would the formula have been? What was the formula for gold? AU. Now, gold is made up of what? Atoms. So this, instead of being FU, would have been atoms. you wouldn't have needed this extra step. Unfortunately, I can't control what particles make up the substance that we're talking about. Questions? Now, tomorrow's quiz is 4 problems. 4 problems. 3 of them are not nearly as complicated as this. They're like the problems at the beginning, like you were doing when you were practicing earlier today. There is one that is a little bit more complicated. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with your quiz yet, other than having you take it tomorrow. Okay? We will go from there. My calculators need to go back in that tray before you leave, ladies and gentlemen. Do not make me chase you down the hallway and tackle you from behind because you have one of my calculators. Hey, you're not leaving with my jacket either. Tough it up for the last 2 minutes of class and let's go. You don't look good as Coach Brand. I'm sorry.
I don't look good.
As Coach Brand, no, you don't. That jacket is way too big for you, sir. You need more belly to fill that jacket out, okay?
Maybe one day.
Hopefully not for you.
When I get married.
Oh, no. Marriage didn't do this to me. 2 kids and a wife did, but that's a whole nother
So
story.
it's marriage and children.
Yes. You know what? Here's the amazing part. You guys tell me if this makes sense. My wife and I both coached basketball for years. We both have 2 children. I have a ton of gray hair. She has none. Women cause gray hair.
That is not a that's no.
What do you mean, no?
Technically, scientifically.
It's scientifically proven. The only difference between us is that I have a wife and she has a husband. Yes, the experiment is we have done the same things. We're both teachers. Go ahead, try it.
Pardon says it can't be scientifically proven. It's not like
Who's got my one calculator? Thank you.
Well, technically, he still is, though.
I'm right on that. You guys can't argue. Go ahead, get out. Goodbye. Goodbye. I've carried babies more than most people, Ruby. Carried them around all over the place. They're kind of lazy.
I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be here. That sounded kind of like a threat, Haley. I don't know why. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Mr. Brand, I turned in my
Yes, I saw.
lab.
I saw.
Yeah,
I will get to it when I get a chance.
Is there any way that
My
I can
internet
do like
wasn't working.
corrections on the lab or something?
Why? What'd you get on it?
Like a 73, and it has my grade at like a C.
Okay, that's going to be until tomorrow when you do really well on your quiz, and then that brings it up.